W.M. Simpson of Darlington. Do you know those makers?
No.
Well, I tell you, that's all the years I've done the roadshow. I think from the second year, that's 24 years. This is the first time I've had a piece of furniture which is identifiable and local to the show.
Oh, good.
Wonderful. And it is late 19th century, but of the most superb quality. And looking at it, we tend to forget how huge the mansions were all over England, but particularly in the north of England. Vast libraries were built for people who were bibliophiles, who wanted to look like bibliophiles. And this is a fitment from such a library.
Oh,
and you've got two of them. There's one at the back.
Yeah.
It almost matches, but it's as if the man had his collection and it enlarged and he wanted another piece to fit in, so he gradually filled the library with pieces like this. And they're all made by the same company. And then later on, this was added, and there's another one to that at the back too. And there might have been 4 or 6 of these, of which these were salvaged. Now, before we go on, where did you find them, or how have you come by them?
Well, a colleague of mine bought a rather large house in Park Road, and he found this in the coal cellar, and he offered it to me.
Right.
So I cleaned it up and used it as 4 different cabinets.
Well, what we can tell about the man is that not only did he collect books, but he also collected either manuscripts or objects that went with the books, because you have a glass top on all of them.
Oh, yeah.
Now, there's no point in normally you'd have a library bookcase would have a solid top. You bring out the book, you put it up here to read. There's no point. This obviously surrounded the walls, around which there would have been a huge library table or a desk to put the books, so that you could still see the items in here on display.
So that's the idea of the glass?
Absolutely.
Oh, good.
And that's why these come from a separate bit of furniture, because originally you wouldn't put this on top of a display set.
No.
So we shall never know where these come. These are slightly later. Just look at the quality, first of all. Go down here. This is absolutely superb. Now, this is almost certainly machine carved, i.e. it's done on a jig, which means not that the man didn't operate it by hand, but that he made several at the same time. So this precisely matches that.
So this is
all the segments.
This is how they got identical.
Absolutely. All identical pieces. Now, what isn't identical is the quality of that work with when we come up to the quality of this, which is much looser. It's slightly less crisp. The wood is the same, could have come from the same batch of timber. The wood is perfectly matching this, but the quality of the construction and the quality of the carving is slightly less. So this might have been made 3 months, 4 months later by a different man in a different part of the workshop. So what we've got left is only a fraction of what there must have been. Goodness knows where the rest went, but so much was demolished in the 1950s and 60s. But it's a wonderful example. And here I think it's a good opportunity to explain the difference between the values that we give. I'm going to tell you what this would cost to replace. So to make or to replace a pair of cabinets of this quality would cost in the region of £2,500 to £3,000 each cabinet. Now that's as a piece of furniture, not as an antique value, it's just as it is. This quality, this timber is marvellous. These pair of cabinets on top, slightly less expensive to make, and or find and replace, but round about £1,500 to £2,000 each. Now then, that's what it would cost you if you wanted to replace that, to go and buy it new, or replace it second hand, whatever. You wouldn't get that if you tried to sell it, because that would mean you've got to try and find somebody who needs this object, this pair of cabinets. So in that case, you'd get approximately half the insurance value. The difference between being in the finding, the profit for either the auctioneer or the dealer or whatever, it's the difference between purchase and sale. And so if you wanted to sell it, you could safely say that you would get in the region of £4,000 if you want to replace your best part of £8,000. All right?
Okay.
That's the difference, and I think they're wonderful. Historically, so interesting and wonderful to see at long last a piece of local furniture. Thank you very much.
Right, thank you very much indeed. Can I shake your hand?
Thank you. Of course you may.
Thank you.
Not at all.